You know what? The greatest privilege I've had from running this YouTube channel is the fact that I've managed to see a community build. A community of people who are in the same situation or have been in the same situation, and it doesn't matter whether you're a year clear of gambling, 5 years, 10 years, a week, a month, or you gambled yesterday and you're treating today as your first day on the path to recovery. We are all in the same situation. We are all keeping on the same path. We are all looking at the same destination. And this is where I believe the expression keeping on the wagon comes from. And they use it in the likes of GA and AA, and I'm sure it's used for other addictions too. It's the idea of a group of people, a brotherhood, if you will, of people who all want to support each other, stay together, and stay on the right path. And whilst I think there's benefits to this, I think it can be a highly dangerous analogy. And in this video, what I want to talk about is the psychology of being on the wagon or being in recovery, and how actually, whilst it's an incredibly important thing, and it is always the right path to a better life if you are suffering from this addiction, the idea of being on or off a wagon can be incredibly dangerous, and that's what I want to talk about in this video today. Firstly, as always, I just want to say hi, hope you're keeping safe, hope you're keeping sane. Thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel. Thank you to everyone who signed up to the Patreon. There will be a link in the description below. You sign up and obviously you can interact with me through DMs, and I think there's a tier where I'll send you a personalised video, although I've been doing that for most of my Patreons, to be honest, and we have a bit of conversation over there and what have you. So yep, anyone who chooses to support me in any way, shape or form, very much appreciated. And that kind of leads on to very much the topic of today's video, which is supporting each other. I don't always have the opportunity to reply to all my comments, and it's quite often when I actually get round to going through my comments and going to respond to people. So many of you have already responded, offering your help, offering your advice, and often just offering your support and kind words of wisdom. So that's, like I say, the biggest benefit that I've seen from running this YouTube channel. Not the fact that I stand here and waffle on about all my advice and experiences, although hopefully that does help some people, but the fact we have a community, we have a network of people who all have been in the dark places of gambling addiction, but all want to help each other to reach the right destination, or should I say, more importantly, stay on the right path. So who's on this wagon, this metaphorical wagon? Well, it's all of us, isn't it? It's all the people who have made the decision to get into recovery and stay on the path of recovery. It's all those people who have admitted that our addiction, whether that be gambling or alcohol or recreational drugs or whatever it is, have accepted that our addiction has got us beaten, and that we all do need our support, not just from the people on the wagon, but from all around. We need support to help keep us on the straight and narrow, to keep us away from the temptations and the urges and the cravings that come with any form of addiction. If you fall off the wagon, and most recoveries will have lapses, relapses, dare I say. Okay, my road to recovery has been anything, far from smooth. I have sworn to stay off gambling more times than I care to remember, and in the vast majority of cases, I have gone back, I have lapsed. So that would be effectively what is falling off the wagon. And this idea that you're either on the wagon or off. So if you're on the wagon, you're great. You're sober, you're in recovery, whatever label you want to put on it. If you're off the wagon, then by default, you must be back to where you started from. You must be a gambler again. You must be an addict again. I used to joke, and it's a bit of a sick joke, and it's probably not beneficial to anyone, but yeah, it shows the mindset, and actually it shows what I'm going to go on to talk about. I used to joke that I didn't just fall off the wagon, I'd nicked the wheels off it and burnt the bastard, right? That was kind of my humorous analogy. Oh, Phil, you're back gambling again. Oh yeah, I'm off the wagon, I nicked the wheels off it and torched it. And the reason I used to say stuff like that is because this idea of being either one thing or the other, you're either in it or you're not in it, you're either on the wagon or you're off the wagon, it's incredibly convenient, not just for us as addicts, because if we're off the wagon, then we're just all systems go, isn't it? Throw hell to leather. That's not an expression, is it? But you know what I mean. You can go hell for leather on your addiction. You can binge. You can cause yourself so much destruction, and you can excuse it. Oh well, I'm off the wagon. I fell off, didn't I? And it's also a great way for the addiction to manifest itself. Those gambling demons that are sitting there waiting for you to just trip up a little bit, maybe lapse, maybe just succumb to an urge. And if they can then see, oh well, tell him he's off the wagon, tell him he's fallen off, then they can pounce. And so this binary idea that you're either on or you're off is incredibly harmful. But here's the thing, and here's where I think we sometimes sort of let ourselves down, or we allow that gambling to creep back in. There isn't one wagon. There's many wagons, and there's no destination either. You know, if you fall off a wagon, yeah, maybe you can jump straight back on. You have a lapse, and you can go, oh, dust yourself off, jump straight back on the wagon and keep on your journey. But maybe it isn't just a lapse. Maybe it's not just once. Maybe it's twice. Maybe it's a whole week. Maybe it's a month-long binge. Maybe you've gone backwards. Maybe you're back to where you started from. But here's the thing. You can either run and catch up with the wagon, or there'll be another one along soon. They're like buses. Trust me. And the important thing to remember as well is that recovery is not a destination. So yeah, you might be further back down the road, but they're not heading anywhere. The only true destination in recovery from any addiction is to live the rest of your life without succumbing to the temptation, without succumbing to that addiction, without going back to the place you were at. And so ultimately, if we're going to take this wagon analogy to the nth degree, the only destination is death. And that's not a very fun thing to think about on a weekend, is it? So let's not think about that, eh? So you can only be who you are in the moment. Be, as a wise man once said, be the verb, not the noun. Be what you are doing at that time, not what you consider yourself to be. I, for example, have only been to the gym twice this week. I normally go sort of 5 times a week or so. I've not eaten particularly healthy, and I've been to the pub a few times. Okay, now that doesn't mean that I'm no longer someone who goes to the gym and I'm someone who drinks every day. What that means is that's what I did. If I go to the gym today, and I've actually got my shorts on here because I'm going as soon as I've recorded these videos. If I go to the gym today and I don't drink alcohol, then that's who I am today. If you come off the wagon, it's not the end of the world. It's only the end of the world if you allow it to be. It's only the end of the world if you allow that to define you. And like I say, it's incredibly convenient if you are someone looking for an excuse to gamble, looking to keep that door ajar so you can go back to your old habits, which are the path of least resistance. This idea that, oh, well, I've fallen off, back to square one, whatever, I might as well self-destruct, And I do know someone who does this regularly. They have a little period of abstinence, then they lapse. And rather than the next day going, oh, that was stupid, let's just go back and, let's carry on, let's get back on that wagon, let's, or catch the next wagon, whatever. All right? They go, oh, well, that's it, I'm an addict, I'm on the path of self-destruction, and they'll just cause themselves more and more damage, set themselves back further and further and further. So look, to summarise, you don't have to be on the wagon or off the wagon. Yes, the wagon is the place to be. It's the place where you're not gambling. It's the place on that road to a better life, to recovery. But recovery is not a destination. So if you fall off, if you can dust yourself off and get straight back on, then so much the better. If you can't and you've gone back to square one, then get on another wagon. And you're all heading in the same direction, and no one's ever going to get there. But being on that wagon is the place to be. All right? It's not a journey. It's not a destination, sorry. It's a journey. I tried to sound really profound at the end there and then completely stumbled my word. But there you go. What can you do? I hope that makes sense, guys. Stay safe, stay sane. Have a great weekend if I don't speak to you before. Like I say, Patreon link in the description below, and I'll catch up with you all soon. All the best.